We turn our focus to this now. A Daily Maverick expose has cast a shadow over the authenticity of qualifications of the Johannesburg Roads Agency CEO Tshepo Mahanuke. The news outlet found that Mahanuke's qualifications are either lies or overstated for someone in such a complex and crucial engineering job. This in a metro municipality with reported 45,000 potholes, causing an alleged 650 million rands worth of damages to vehicles. It's alleged Mahanuke's honorary doctorate from an obscure Christian evangelical institution in the U.S. could be bought for a small donation, while his claimed of a master's degree from Harvard appeared doctored. JRA has stood behind its recruitment agency and defended Mahanuke's 3.5 million rands a year salary. Joining us now to react to the expose is the JRA's board chairperson, Thabo Motloung. Mr. Motloung, good evening. Good to have you. And
good evening, Mr. Mdluli, and thank you for having us this evening.
Let's go back a little bit before we speak about the appointment process. Why was there a vacancy at the JRA to start?
The former chair of board resigned, and the board of directors at the time accepted his resignation, and we parted ways amicably. There was no issues, and that process was above board.
So that particular process was not given rise to by any political interference?
No, none whatsoever. At the time, when the new board was appointed, the CEO, in a short space of time, indicated that he has no longer have interest to continue as the CEO of the company. He tendered his resignation as the board. We considered it, and we released him amicably.
Yeah. Now, in what has then transpired in the last 3 months or so that has now led to the matter that we are discussing as far as the appointment of this new CEO? Yeah. Take us through how the CEO was appointed.
So the company went through a recruitment process wherein we advertised for a position of the CEO, and he, like many other applicants, I don't want to speak without clear facts, responded to the advert, and we went through a shortlisting process, and number of candidates were shortlisted and interviewed, and post that we obviously then went through a vetting process. I need to put into context and qualify a number of issues. As non-executive directors, we're not full-time employees of the company. We rely on obviously appointed third-party agencies, to internal HR processes, which from statute's point of view, we are prohibited to meddle with the process because the segregation of duty is critical in the process of recruitment. So we respected the process. The CEO was appointed. What is of concern and what has been doing rounds in the media, one, it's his PhD, which it had no bearing on this. If you check the adverts, we're looking for NQF level 7 qualification, which has two components to it: a business qualification and a technical qualification. And based, and really I want you to understand this correctly, based on the information at our disposal at the time, we had not found anything illegitimate. Subsequent to that process, we then shortlisted also candidates, other candidates, who then went through one, competency assessment as prescribed by a COGTA. Two, and then there's qualification verification process, which is external. I want you to know that also. Two, there's internal HR verification of employment through the stated previous employers.
I want us to test the robustness of those processes. Let's accept what you're saying here is that you as the board, of course, are not the directors of the companies or their processes in the company, right? As the board, though, I'm sure you are aware that there were questions around the qualification of the previous CEO. There was controversy around that, right?
Yes.
So now I would think when you're appointing this new CEO, you would want to make sure that that particular aspect of things is unquestionable and is beyond reproach. Do you not have, apart from the HR internal processes, the external independent verification process, your own verification process of, one, the qualification, but two, the experience?
Yes. So, we derive our legitimacy and mandate from statutes. We are constituted in terms of Companies Act. Our mandate we derive from City of Johannesburg. There's a shareholder compact that is prescriptive of these processes. And even the recruitment panel is constituted by several stakeholders in the process. Now, the previous CEO issues, I'm not clued up to them. It was prior our period as the current board at GRA. So we walked in, a man in less than 4 weeks of our existence resigned. However, I am saying I am comfortable that from a process point of view, we have undertaken the process legitimately. Now, if there's any issues that were overlooked in the process, it is of paramount significance that as the board, we need to then retrospectively undertake a process of authenticating those. We may never discount this process. The Mayor of City of Joburg, the MMC of Transport today, they've said we have now put it in the hands of the board to ensure that they authenticate this process.
These are politicians who are going to put you under the bus as the board to say, it's you who appointed this guy, you're incompetent. Because ultimately, explain to me what happens. The independent panel shortlists this particular individual. I'm sure the board goes through the process of interviewing this individual. One of the things that are cited in the CV, right, is 2010, I led and mobilized a team of engineering technical experts to do world-class engineering equipment maintenance. Is there nobody in the board who sits and say, okay, 2010, but when actually did you qualify? And how could you have led this particular team of engineers in 2010 when your qualification only happens later?
Yes. Now, Julie, you've got to understand this. That's why institutions of higher learning do what we call recognition of prior learning. People come across with different experience. So you say, prior to acquiring my journalism diploma, I worked as an intern at Newzroom Afrika. We on a face value, that is accepted because at the time what was of paramount importance to the board is to ensure that the guy has basic qualification, 1, 2 has minimum experience. Now, accept that we were working with information at our disposal, which is details on the CV with references, whom we will then have trusted that once we've undergone the process, because we interrogate, and remember, for us there are 5 fundamental complexes in the company. We need the roads to be functional. We need the bridges to be safe. We need to have a drainage system that can work and that is able to ensure that the city is not flooded. We were at the time concerned with the technical ability to lead the business and to ensure technically we are prudent and sound, to ensure that the residents of City of Joburg are safe. That was critical.
Chairperson, that means to me essentially somebody came and gave you papers and you said, well, we trust your bona fides. You're an external independent contractor. You did your verification. You are internal HR. You did your verification. Boom, we stamp. You're employed.
No, we didn't. There's a second layer of it, which is the COCTA competency assessment, which is undertaken again by independent assessment company, which then, prior to even us appointing, it gives you 3 indications. It says a person is incompetent, basic and competent. And it has number of measurements that it measures on this person. So these factors were taken into account. Now, if then today millions of South Africans are saying, but hang on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why as the leadership of the company, we've then undertaken to say, now we will further authenticate, i.e.
How? Tell me. How do all these processes miss it? I mean, if you're saying now you further authenticate, right?
Yes.
Or re-verify.
Yes.
Are you hoping you're going to pick up something else?
I'm hoping
because if you verify again, you're going to pick up the exact same things if you're going to go through the same process.
And I'm hoping nothing new will surface, Mdluli, because I want to face you again in Mdluli. I still stand with our decision that we were right, but however, also I would come back and say we were wrong, and these are the issues that have surfaced. This is where we were misled, or these were the lies that we did not detect in the process. However, we are saying, as we stand off today, we are comfortable that the minimum process undertaken did not have, because some of the arguments is the PhD issue, really, like as you alluded, which had no bearing. Because in his CV it says it's an honorary doctorate. The second aspect
is the national diploma in mechanical engineering
verified and confirmed with Val University of Technology.
But was the requirement not a degree?
Yes, a BTech, which he has a Bachelor of Production Management, Bachelor of Technology in Production Management.
With which institution?
With Val University of Technology.
So over and above the diploma in mechanical engineering?
Yes, over and above a diploma in mechanical engineering. Right. Those were the two legit qualifications that we have authenticated, and based on the report at our disposal, they were authenticated as legitimate qualification with Val University of Technology.
So one of the key performance areas of the JRA is zero tolerance to fraud and corruption.
Yes.
Right. You agree that if one or two of the qualifications can be authenticated and one or two cannot be authenticated, the whole thing falls apart.
Yes. But Thabo, when somebody says, I have a honorary doctorate for an institution Y in from USA or whatsoever. At the time of the recruitment process, because it had no bearing, somebody says from Trinity University, blah, blah, blah. What we're looking at that particular time is those qualifications. I have, as the chairperson of the board, never referred to Tshepo Mahanuke as Dr. Tshepo Mahanuke. In no way where I have interacted with him or regarded him in that way, because I understood it's an honorary doctorate, which it can be challenged in any way, which he can also defend in any way. Yes. Which I'm comfortable with, but I think what is fundamentally critical now, it's for us as the board to say we're at the point where there are questions, and in the best interest of residents of Johannesburg, and in ensuring that we deal with this sketch of corruption in South Africa and the issue of people exaggerating who they truly are, we will then further verify. And like I've indicated to 702 this morning, there was a process that was undertaken by Human Resource Department within the company, which from a fiduciary and segregation of duty point of view, we couldn't undertake as a board. But now that these allegations have been brought to our attention, we'll make sure that we subject that process to an independent body.
Okay. Yes. Let's talk about the last 3 months then. As far as the decision has been made. Is he the right man for the job? We see in this expose that apparently there's an escalation, for example, of sick leave application. People clearly not particularly happy with the way systems are currently being run or things are going. However, Mr. Mahanuke is saying the morale is quite high. I suppose the morale quite high, and 1,900 sick leave days compared to 1,500 annual leave days. What do you say as the board?
You know, the usage of data, it's something critical. Now, when you throw a number on the table, it's crucial that you qualify it proper. You then say of the 1,000 odd sick leave days, this was taken in month 1, 2, 3, 4, so that I'm able to respond to questions with facts at our disposal. Somebody threw a number, and I wish it had a breakdown. Now, to speak to that number, there could be, and now, at what level he manages the heads of departments, which are his executive management team, and we have about 9 or 10 depots. Where are these filtering from? The country currently is going through a difficult time. People have numerous challenges. But if you're saying these sick leave spiral were in the core executive team, which are his direct reports, I would then take serious exception to that. However, as the board, we've contracted him. He is on probation, which we need to confirm in 3 months' time because he's passed the first 90 days. We will ensure that process is legitimately managed. We will not, we are credible. The board is credible individuals who are professionals in their own rights. And therefore, we also take ourselves serious and will not compromise that process.
Did the political head of this particular portfolio play proper in terms of his oversight role?
You know, I don't want to cast aspersion to the political head, but the process was inclusive of all relevant stakeholders. And it's also critical that you understand that we have fiduciary duty as the board, and at no time we can pass the buck. If there was an oversight on our side, we'll have to take blame and fall by the sword. But we may never come here and say, no, so-and-so did this and did that. We have an understanding. We derive our mandate from the statutes, from the Companies Act, from the Local Government Systems Act, from the shareholder compact we have, and our relationships are defined in terms of statute.
Is the CEO still in his job as you investigate?
The CEO is still in his job, and if the board will meet urgently, and if there are facts that warrants that we put him on leave or in whatever form, in respect of the laws of the country, because he's got rights, we will ensure that we embark on that process. But we'll make sure also it's above board, because we cannot trample on somebody's rights because there's a hype and there are questions. As long as there's rationale, the law says we have power, we can make decisions, but as long as there's a rationality that can justify why we've made that decision.
GRA, a chairperson of the board, Thabo Motloung, appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.